Hello, my name is Seth, and I'm an engineer on the HealthKit team. There are many health and fitness apps in the App Store that help people plan, track, and visualize their fitness goals. When people grant your app permission, your app can leverage HealthKit's centralized, secure database and powerful APIs to create workouts and access the underlying health data. Workout zones can leverage health data to help people train smarter by tracking time spent at specific intensity levels. Heart rate zones are a training resource that's personalized to an individual. They are calculated by considering one's age and resting heart rate. Typically, people use 5 heart rate zones to track their effort level in a workout. Each heart rate sample, like 135 beats per minute, falls into the boundaries of a particular zone, like Zone 3, which indicates the intensity level. These ranges can be a guide to plan or track exertion levels in activities like running, cycling, high-intensity interval training, and rowing. Similarly, cycling power zones help cycling enthusiasts measure their power output in watts based on a personalized functional threshold power. In iOS 27 and watchOS 27, heart rate and cycling power zone support has been integrated into HealthKit. I have a sample app that can create, track, and provide a summary for workout sessions. Throughout this session, I'll show you how you can incorporate workout zones into your app using this sample app as a guide. In this session, I will demonstrate adding heart rate zone support to the sample app. When adopting cycling power zones in your app, you will find they follow a similar structure. In this session, I'll go over accessing zone data from completed workouts, registering for live zone change updates during a workout session, accessing people's preferred zone configurations, and how to provide custom zone configurations for workouts in your app. Workout zones turn raw data like heart rate samples into actionable training guidance. Many workout plans have intensity goals for each workout. For endurance training, a person might want to stay below a certain threshold. However, an interval training exercise might require a person to stay at or above a specific level for a period of time. Zones also help with recovery and load balance. For instance, a workout that is largely spent in higher zones, like Zone 4 or Zone 5, suggests a hard effort. You can use this information to offer guidance or classify the intensity of a workout. With workout zones now integrated into HealthKit, people can share heart rate and cycling power zone information directly with your app. The time in each zone is automatically calculated by HealthKit based on incoming samples during the workout. Workout zones follow a similar authorization flow as other HealthKit data types. Before accessing workout zone data, request HealthKit authorization for the relevant quantity types, in this case workouts, heart rate, and cycling power. Let's look at how you can retrieve heart rate zones from a completed workout in HealthKit. My app currently tracks live workouts and displays a summary once the workout completes. To help people visualize their intensity and effort, I now want to display the total time spent in each heart rate zone for the completed workout. I can use the HealthKit APIs to help graph out the time in each heart rate zone in my app's summary view. To retrieve zone data after a workout, access the Zone Groups by Type dictionary on either the HK workout or an individual HK workout activity, passing the appropriate HK quantity type. Here, I want heart rate zones, so I will supply the heart rate quantity type. In iOS 27 and watchOS 27, HealthKit supports workout zones for heart rate and cycling power, and they share a similar structure. To receive cycling power zones, just update the associated quantity type. If heart rate zones are available, this will return an HK workout zone group structure. Let's take a look at what all this contains. HK workout zone group contains 2 properties, a configuration and an array of zone durations. The HK workout zone configuration describes the set of zones and how they were created. It contains the HK quantity type for the zones. In this case, it's heart rate. The source is an enum that tells us how the workout zone thresholds were configured, whether they were created automatically by the system, if they were set manually by the user in settings, or if they were custom supplied by an app at the time of the workout. I will go over the source in more detail later in the session. The configuration also contains an array of zones ordered by the zone's boundaries. Each zone contains an index and a minimum and maximum HK quantity. The first zone has no lower bound, and the last has no upper bound, ensuring the full range of values is always covered. Zones are guaranteed to be contiguous and non-overlapping. HK Workout Zone Group also contains an array of zone durations. This is an array where each element contains the zone and the time spent in each zone, ordered by the zone threshold values. I can use these zone durations to populate a graph in my app. When the person ends the workout in my app, I can chart the time spent in each heart rate zone. Workout zones are available on HK Workout and HK Workout Activity. This means your app can display zones for the entire duration of a workout all at once, or, in the case of multi-sport workouts, break them up by individual activities. Some workout plans require a person to stay in or below specific zones. In these cases, it would be great if my app could display the current heart rate zone and notify the person if it changes, allowing them to adjust their intensity level in order to stay in their target zone. I can use the live workout zone updates to handle zone changes in my app. During a live workout, HealthKit receives incoming heart rate samples. HealthKit processes each heart rate sample to identify the heart rate zone. When there's a change, like from zone 2 to zone 3, HealthKit sends a notification to your app as the samples are processed. HK Live Workout Builder Delegate is the protocol apps use to receive updates about a live workout. The workout is tracked by HealthKit. When something important happens, like a new activity begins or a data type that I'm tracking updates, HealthKit passes that update to my delegate, and I can make changes in my app, like update the UI. To process changes in heart rate zone, I'll use the did update workout zone method. Each update will include the current zone and the previous zone. Updates are only sent when the current zone changes, like from zone 2 to zone 3, as well as the zone group, containing the entire zone configuration and the current total time in each zone. Finally, it includes a timestamp for the last sample processed. This is helpful to display a running timer of the time in the current zone. Once my delegate processes the zone update, I make changes in my app to highlight the new current zone. I'll adopt this in my app so I can handle zone changes within a workout. In my app, I can now highlight the person's current zone and notify them if their current zone changes. By default, HealthKit uses the preferred workout zone thresholds configured in health settings. With preferred zones, people receive a consistent experience across apps and devices, since these zones sync across devices via HealthKit. Preferred zones include those calculated by the system. These zones are periodically calculated based on user metrics, if available. For instance, heart rate zones are automatically calculated based on factors such as the person's age and resting heart rate. Preferred zones can also be manually configured in health settings. Before starting a zone workout, make sure the person has a preferred zone configuration set. You can query for the preferred zone configurations on either the HK Health Store or the HK Workout Builder. Custom zones are the right choice when your app has specific zone definitions that differ from zone preferences in health settings, such as a training platform with a proprietary zone model. I can use these two concepts in my app to provide a custom set of heart rate zones if they have not been configured directly. First, I can check if a preferred heart rate zone configuration has been set. If not, I can use an array of zone thresholds and the associated HK unit to create an array of HK quantity zone boundaries. I can use the boundaries and the heart rate quantity type to create the default HK workout zone configuration. The zone boundary units must match and be compatible with the zone configuration's quantity type. HealthKit creates zones based on the provided boundaries. The first zone starts at 0 and the last is unbounded. Between 3 and 9 zones are required. Next, I'll provide the custom configuration to the HK Workout Builder. Custom zones must be added to the builder before calling Begin Collection in your app. There are a few important things to keep in mind when using custom zone configurations. Custom zone configurations are only saved within the context of the workout. Your app is responsible for saving and syncing custom zone configurations if needed. Workout zone configurations can contain varying thresholds and numbers of zones. This is common for cycling power zones. For instance, the system defaults to 6 zones, but some training apps use 5 and others use 7 or 8. This is important to keep in mind if your app compares efforts with different numbers of zones. If your app compares time and zone across multiple workouts with different amounts of zones, this zone information can't immediately be compared. For instance, Zone 3 in a 5-zone workout may reflect different values than Zone 3 in a 7-zone workout. Each zone represents a different range of values. Instead, make sure to normalize zones based on each workout's number of zones and their boundaries. Do this by taking the original samples on the workout, then sorting them into the appropriate number of buckets for your app. In this case, 7. Workout zones enable richer, more actionable fitness apps. Whether you're building a post-workout summary screen, a live coaching experience, or a long-term training dashboard, HealthKit offers a simplified interface for your app to access this data. To get started, adopt the Workout Zones API in your app. You can use the provided sample app as a guide. Chart or graph zone data in your app so people can visualize their workout effort. And handle live zone changes to keep people informed as their intensity levels adjust throughout a workout. I love using your apps to help me pursue my fitness goals. Thank you for being a part of the developer community and empowering people to take charge of their health. Thank you for watching.